The moon appears and disappears. You look at me, my clothes I quickly shed. Curtains dance and minuet. Autumn plays and music, baby. Come on, hold my hand.
All right, y'all. Shoot. I was just saying in the live stream that I just started that I have had so many tech issues in the last few days. It's been ridiculous. And so as I was saying that, the Cox Cable people, because I had called them about problems that I was having with my connection, instead of calling me, they were outside doing a test. So basically, the stream I started, where I started talking about the tech issues that I was having, was interrupted by tech issues. I just want to say that for a second, and hopefully, look, I think I'm still getting drop frames. I'm going to fix it, guys. You won't need to see my face too much on this anyway, so we just going to roll with it, and hopefully the audio is good for you. If you're in the chat right now, this is what I need from you, is I need for you to holler at me and let me know what the audio is like for you. All right? Because that's the most important thing. What's up, Achilles Matters from Switzerland? I'm kind of looking at the stream myself, and it looks like there's drop frames. So it's super, super frustrating, but I'm going to fail forward and make it do what it do. We're going to figure it out as we go along, and then one day I'm going to look back at all these live streams, and I'm going to laugh. That's what I'm going to do, because, yeah. Anyway, let's get into this, man. Let's get into this. That's what we're going to do. Another tech issue that I had, I was working on this document the other day. I don't know if I saved it. I don't know what happened, but it bugged out as well. And it bugged out and didn't save all the stuff. But that's good, because that means that we can that I can work through it with you. I'm going to open my phone and just look at the stream as well, and also give some folks a chance to hop on here. So fail forward, brother. Fleece, what's good, baby? Fail forward. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people. I talked to somebody today, an old friend of mine. All love to that person, but sitting around kind of waiting on things to happen, man, and life keeps going by. So my thing is fail forward, and then with the internet and all that, we can look back at the documentation and see how we fail forward. Anyway, today we're talking about 16th notes. In the previous live streams that we talked that I had talking about reading rhythms, we talked about whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, and eighth notes. Also, we talked about their corresponding rest. Now, this document is not up just yet, but it will be. We're going to work through it. Now, probably one of the smallest subdivisions of a beat that we see as bass players is going to be the 16th note. Some people like to teach that you count all rhythmic values as one E and a. I don't really like that because it gets confusing after a while. But if you can see these beams, the way that the notes are beamed, this group of 16th notes, this is letting you know that that's all related to one beat. Okay? So peep this. I'm going to just build this document while I'm on the live with you guys, and then I'll make it available. So Right now, I'm just going to put 1 there because that's beat 1. I don't want to do that. Let's take that out of there. I'm also relearning Sibelius. This is beat 2, of course. Right here we have beat 3. And here we have beat 4. Now, when we've gone over how to feel those beats. Those are easy, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But now check this out. Since we've divided that beat into 4 equal parts, now we've got the syllables 1. We use the syllables 1, E, and Likewise, 2, E, and Likewise, 3, E, and 4, E, and So if we have a tempo of 1, 2, 3, 4, that speed, we're going to clap or play these as 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and again, I haven't started talking about pitches just yet, because I think that reading rhythms is the most, well, they're equally important, but I think if I had to put one thing in front of another, I would say, learn how to recognize rhythms first. And so these are our basic rhythmic values. So let's talk about this symbol right here. We know what the time signature means. I said all that to say we've got this 1-line staff. So this is like a percussion staff because we're not talking about high or low. There's no pitch given here. Okay? But this symbol here is a starting repeat sign. And this one over here is an ending repeat sign. So when I make the PDF available and you can download it and play along with it, you just repeat that until you're comfortable with it. So let's say pull out the trusty bass guitar. I can pick any note to do this type of exercise. Note to self, when you want to play the bass, you got to plug the bass in. There the bass is. So right now I'm just going to pick a note, right? And arbitrary tempo. 1, I'll pick D. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and I would repeat that until I got comfortable. Another good thing about doing something like that is you start getting independence. If you are strict with alternating these two fingers, you get a lot of independence in these two fingers. Right? And that's what we want, especially for faster things. But so you definitely want to be mindful and strict about alternating your fingers. Okay, so now I'm going to break this down. Just K, thank you. I appreciate those kind words. I appreciate it. I appreciate you sticking in with the tech issues as well. So on this group of exercises here on this second line, each one of these is going to be a separate exercise, if you will. Okay, so here, all of these are going to be subdivisions of beat number 1. Let's get our eyes comfortable with what we're seeing. So I've got a 16th note, which is right there on the downbeat of beat number 1. And then 3 16th notes after it. Now, we know that 4 16th notes is going to equal 1 beat. So we're just playing bop, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right there on the downbeat. This rest here, just to review, is a half rest. The half rest sits on top of the line. So the way I was taught when I was a kid was that it was the half rest looked like a hat, and the whole rest looked like a hole. I don't think either one of those things is true, but you know, the half rest sits on top, the whole rest will hang on the line. So if this half rest is worth 2 beats, then we've got beat 1, beat 2, and beat 3 represented by the half rest, and beat number 4 represented by the quarter rest, because we got to have the equivalent of 4 quarter notes in that measure, right? So you take an exercise like this. The first one is going to be easy because it's right there on the downbeat. Of course, again, because there's no pitch on the paper, I'm just going to take one note. I'll take D again, because that's, or E flat, because that's one that you could see in this frame. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Now it seems pretty easy, right? And it is, but there are some people that aren't playing like they want to, not because they can't, because there's certain things that they aren't aware of. So that's just getting us comfortable with the downbeat, right? 1, you want to do this with a metronome, okay? Because the metronome is going to keep you honest. If you have the metronome on and it is clicking on the, so let's see. Yeah, let's see here. Show you what I mean. I like to use this app called Tempo. It's by a company, Frozen Ape is the name of the company, or the developer.
1, 2, I like to 3, 4.
So I've got that click right there on beat 1. That keeps me honest, right? 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4. You can also play around with dynamics of that downbeat. And so in this exercise, I'm playing that as many times as I need to be comfortable with it. Okay? Also, if you're trying to get your thumb thing together. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay? Let's get off the downbeat for a second. Now, I have beat 1 written down here because you'll notice that all of these different exercises are all on beat 1 of the measure. Beat 2, beat 3, and beat 4 are all rest. Okay? So here's where things start getting a little interesting. I'm going to go on and put some text down here. Put 1 there. Now, in this exercise, and I should number these. I should number these like 1, 2, 3, 4. I will do that. Or I should number them A, B. So this would be 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, right? Like I said, man, fail forward. So let's go to 2B right here. 2B or not 2B. This womp womp. This is beat 1, but we play on the E of beat number 1. Okay? The E of a beat has a certain feeling to it. And by playing through something like this, we'll get familiar with it. It's going to have the same feeling whether it's on beat number 3, beat 4, beat 2, doesn't matter. It's always going to feel, the E of a beat is going to feel the same. So here's an example. Metronome at 80 BPMs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2. Now that may be too fast for you, right? It may not. I don't know, but let's just say that somebody's brand new, right? So let's do 60.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E. Now we're going to isolate that E of beat 1. 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1E, 2, 3, 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E, 2, 3, 4. 1E, 2, 3, 4. 1E. Now I'm saying, right, even when I went to the rest, I was still saying 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. I'm saying that so that if you're working on something like this, you can kind of internalize it just a little bit better. But then as we get comfortable, then I just go, I'll just say whatever that subdivision is. So I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1E, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. I hope that makes sense. If that does not make sense, let me know in the chat. Now, here, this is just the and of beat number 1. And we're super familiar with that because this could actually be rewritten as 2/8 notes. But since we're talking about 16th notes, we've got this written as 2 16th note rests, a 16th note on the and of 1, and then a 16th note rest. Likewise, here's beat 2 and beat 3 that are represented by the rest there, and beat 4. Okay? So we're already familiar with what and sounds like if you were with us for the last couple of live streams. So we'll just for the sake of the thing, we're just gonna play it anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 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 2, 3, 4. And you would repeat that for as many times, right? We haven't gotten into mixed rhythms yet, but as many times as you need to in order to just be comfortable with it and also to see it on the page, right? So we're talking about seeing something on the page and also knowing what it feels and sounds like, okay? So here we are now at the of beat 1. And now that you see it written out here, you see 1E and but this is just a series of separate exercises. Remember at the beginning, if you weren't here in the beginning, you don't know about my little tech problems that I was having. So let me just go on and put some plain text on this right now, so it makes a little bit more sense. Let's see, let's close that. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. So this would be 1 or 2A. All right. And we'll call this one 2B. I won't say the joke again. It was corny the first time. It's horrible. 2C and 2D. We'll fix that later. So you see those as 3 different things. We're isolating, right? Isolating so that you feel it. So the of beat number 1. Only on beat number 1. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1E and a 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I always feel like somebody watching me. I started it, and in my mind it was like, don't sing that. But then it's like, if you start singing the Rockwell tune, you have to finish it. Okay. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Okay, I'll stop. That the of a beat feels like a sneeze. 3, 4. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Right? Now, look. When you see these things, for me, and maybe you feel the same way, when you see them on paper and you start to identify what they look like, what they sound like, all that stuff, then you start, oh shit, I could make, every time I hear like the I start thinking about, there's a groove I can make up. 1, 2. Right? That was the inspiration for a little quick groove. I digress. Let's move on to beat number 2. And then I'm actually, because my document didn't save, or I closed the thing and didn't save it, we'll talk about beat number 2, and then I will finish building the document and make it available on the website. Here we are, beat number 2. Check this out, man. This one is written a little bit differently. Now we're at 3. This would be 3A. 3A is what we're going to call this. All right. So we've got beat 1 right here represented by the quarter rest. Here we are at beat number 2, but I wrote this one a little bit differently. There's a 16th note, a 16th note rest, and then an 8th note rest. Why does an 8th note rest work there? An 8th note rest works there because 1 8th note is worth 2 16th notes. Okay? So it makes it a little bit easier. It makes it a little bit easier on the eyes, right? So let's say, for instance, dude, where's the keypad? Where is the keypad? Got too much stuff going on. You may have to just take my word for it, because I don't want to I don't want us to blow anything here. Panels, keypad. There you are, keypad. So let's bring this over here. This 8th note rest. Now I turned it into 4 16th notes, right? One of them makes more sense in certain situations to write than the other. But it's a matter of preference. Just know that the 2 16th notes and the 1/8 note are worth the same amount. Okay? So we've got beat 1, the downbeat of beat number 2, and then we've got 2 beats of silence represented by the half rest. All right? So what do we do with that? This is what this might sound like. 1, I'm not going to put the metronome on right now. No, I am, because I really want you to hear. I really want you to hear what is going on. That's where the metronome really comes in handy. It's because it keeps you honest, and you can.
4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 2. So I'm saying these out loud. 2. I'm saying them out loud as another method of internalizing it. Okay? So let's go to the E of beat number 2. All right? Go to E of beat number 2. We're going to do the same exact thing. So here's beat number 1, silence. Beat number 2, the downbeat is silent. And then the E of 2, we have 16th note. And while there's no pitch denoted here, you can play whatever pitch you want. You can play fingers. You can also use your thumb or any other technique that you might be working on. So we're going to play the E of beat 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, E, 3, 4. I'm doing palming now. 2, E, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, E, 3, 4. All right. I'm going to move through these a little bit quickly because I think you get the picture of what I'm talking about here. So even that, when I hear that, 1, 2, E. I start getting a little bit inspired to start writing grooves. All right, Pete, little Bo Peep, here we go. That was so corny. I don't know why y'all let me sing corny stuff like Rockwell and all that. Rockwell's not corny. It's not corny. The fact that I sang it. Now that, friends, is corny. Let's go to the and of beat number 3. The and of beat number 2. Here we go. 1. I'll spare you the chat. I'll just play it for you. So I'm looking at beat number 1. Here's beat number 2. We're playing the and of beat number 2. I think I might have said 3 before. Beats 3 and 4 are silent, represented by the half rest. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 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 3, 4. You would play through those as many times as you needed to in order to feel comfortable. All right? And there, I do have expansions on this. Let's move now to the of beat number 2. Remember before I said that the of a beat sounds sort of like a sneeze, feels like a sneeze. Okay? And that's just my way of describing it. So here it is, the of beat number 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we want to get to the point that we just internalize this, right? So even when I'm talking to you, I still feel the downbeat. I still feel I still feel where I am in the measure. But I'm not playing a long passage. I'm playing just one subdivision of a beat, which happens to be the of beat number 2. But it's internalized. So even though we're talking about reading, we're also getting out of that how things feel and relating them to, putting them together. So friends, that in itself, in my opinion, is an example of how being able to read is not going to hinder your creativity. Having, it never hindered my creativity at all. So I just feel like a more well-rounded musician being able to do it, and I will continue. Like I said, I'm gonna get someone to help me with all of these tech things, and one day soon, all of the live streams are gonna go flawlessly. I'm gonna be happy about that. You're gonna be happier about that. So I'm gonna go complete this document right now. I really appreciate you guys checking in and watching. Achilles all the way from Switzerland, Fleece, Just K. I appreciate you guys. So if you have any questions, as always, some of you guys have my email. You can DM me here on on YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram at SONOFABASS and holler at me there. Leave a question or whatever in the comments. Whatever. Orange Juice, you are late. Mondays, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. What? Anyway, so I'm going to leave this up for the replay so everybody who is subscribed to the channel can watch the little flubs and the tech issues and all that. And I can be embarrassed by it and then not be embarrassed by it later. So anyway, I appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your day.